Our next speaker is Dr. Delany Torres Salazar. He is a scientific review officer for the NIH, the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke. He did his master's degree at the University of Valparaiso, so he is kind of a local guy. And he's interested in this area of diversity. He was a scholar of the Mentoring Institute for Neuroscience Diversity, and his scientific interest particularly in this particular meeting, is molecular biophysical ion channels and membrane transporters. His theme is promoting diversity from the NIH review perspective. So, Delany.
Hello. All right, Walter, thank you for the introduction. So before I start, I have to say the bar is a little high right now for me, so I'll do my best. So before I start, actually, I want to thank the organizing committee, especially Miguel and Jorge, for the invitation, because, I mean, this is very special for me. So coming, even when it's the first time in my life that I'm gonna be speaking in front of an audience that I'm not talking about science, that's really weird. But it is still special coming back here because, as Walter mentioned, I wasn't born here like Walter, but I was born scientifically here. So I owe basically my scientific career to Chile and to this center. So it's very special for me always coming back. So as I say, I mean, Theanne left the bar a little bit high, but I'm gonna do my best. I mean, I couldn't agree more with her. And actually, the original title was from the review perspective, because I recently joined the NINDS extramural as a scientific review officer. But actually, I thought that it would be more entertaining for me to, for the audience, like to do more like my perspective. I don't want to talk about how do I address increasing diversity, promoting diversity, but more of what is the idea that I have and why we are where we are. So that's what we're gonna be talking about. So the first thing that comes to mind, at least to me, when we talk about diversity, and as Theanne mentioned, race, one thing, is so we're thinking race and ethnicity. We're different. And I really don't think we're that different. And this is the way I see it. So either if we come from, I mean, if this is your idea of how we were created, we all come from the same mud and the same rib. Although the rib is not my favorite, especially if we are talking about equality, right? But that's one of the cases. Or even if you come from the same porter wheels created for the Egyptian gods, and we come from the same place, right? So obviously I'm not gonna go into all the religious belief because we can be, I'll go over my 10 minutes. But anyways, or we come from the same explosion and the same two atoms, and probably our great grandmother is the same too. So I don't think we're actually that different. And so why are we different? This is a very interesting book that I found by Ashley Montagu, which is a British anthropologist. And the title of the book is Man's Most Dangerous Myth, The Fallacy of Race. And basically in the book, he talks about how race is a social concept, not a genetic basis. So in the book, he basically separated three more prominent racial groups. And so this is this is not working. What am I doing here? What is the, here. Okay, so this is how essentially is concept of race. This is how we, in general, the population, see race, and this is actually how different we are genetically. I mean, if there are geneticists in the room, you might disagree with me, and you're welcome to correct me if I'm wrong. But actually, I think based on the research I've done on that, I mean, we are actually less than 10% different genetically. And actually, I found out that we are more different genetically within a race than among races. So we are actually not that different, but so we are separated based on that. So I'm gonna run a very quick experiment because I don't want to give up science. So as a good experiment should be, I'm not sure it's gonna work. I'm not sure it's gonna prove my hypothesis, but I'm gonna try it anyways. So I'm gonna show you a picture, right? I am going to give you a couple of seconds to look at the picture, and then I'm gonna be circling this, and I want you guys to, you have to pick one of them, and I want you to raise your hand if you think that the picture, the person in the picture belong to. I'm gonna signal this, then you raise your hand, and I'm gonna do so forth, okay? So here we go. All right. So I want you to see, to let me know, where do you see this girl? Is it an African, black, or mixed girl? Sorry, mixed girl. We have 3 hands here. So European white. We have 4 hands. Asian. 1 hand. Okay, I like that. Latino and Hispanic. All right, awesome. Okay, so the majority is Latino and Hispanic. Okay, so I'm going to show you another picture now. All right. So I'm going to see this boy. So do you see this boy as a African, American, black, or mixed race? No. European white? Okay, we have like 10, 15%. Asian? All right, 2 Asian, wow. And Latino and Hispanic? All right, so we have like 80%. Okay, so my experiment didn't work, but still, so we have a statistic that actually shows that 10% of the population in this room mark this guy as European white, right? While nobody, or I think like 1% something, mark the girl as European white, right? And it happened that these 2 individuals are actually brothers and sisters, and they are, as far as I know, coming from the same mother and same father. All right, so that's always an example that I like to put because, so they are actually, and maybe I didn't pick the most representative pictures of them, but they're actually very different racially, and they are the same. So they're coming from, so that's the point I wanted to make. I really don't understand actually how we can, some people from whatever ethnicity can believe that they are superior or better than other people. I really don't get that, but it is there, and I think we have to find a way to fix that. So I'd rather see diversity more as the mixture of all these things that I'm presenting here: language, ethnicity, and I'm very happy that Walter mentioned that the university is an enterprise, because that's what I think diversity we should, because I think diversity is good for business. Because the simple way I see it is that if we get like different life experiences, different way of thinking, or different culture, where you come from, or different perspective, or gender, or even age, we see the same problem different. And this is what we do as scientists. We have a problem in front of us, and we want to solve it, right? And I think the more different point of view that you have to address that problem, I think the better, the more successful, and the better solution to that problem you have. That's the way I believe it is, and I think that's more than for, obviously for opportunity, it is important, but I think it's more important because I think this is the way to go, because I think different perspectives is better for success. And then, so obviously I want to show some numbers, but we all have done that, so it might be going a little boring. I'm happy that I picked graph instead of table because everybody did, but anyways, so this is just, everybody has shown this. This, I was very struck by this data, because especially what surprised me was that I noticed that if you see Asians are, so this is individuals in biomedical research, in faculty, postdoc, whatever, and this is the US demographic of 2018. And so you can see that Hispanics and Black and Native American are less than 20% in biomedical science that in actually in the population, while whites don't have that problem, and Asians actually have more people in biomedical science that actually they are in the United States. okay? And I think that's a very clear, for me, that this is a socioeconomic problem. Or at least that's the way I see it. Because, I mean, I once heard Farid Zakaria from CNN say something that I never thought about it, and I realized this is actually true. I mean, and he simply say, so he's native from India, and he say, so you know, in the United States, typically, Hispanics and blacks are typically, okay, that's not general, but like especially in California, for example, Hispanics are the ones that do like the low-paid jobs, right? And then what he said was, if instead of Mexico, India was in the border with the United States, I mean, typically Asian people in the United States and Indians and Asian people, they will be professional, right? Like high-paying jobs. And what he said was, if India and China will be in the border instead of Mexico, so they will be the ones doing those jobs, and so it will be like kind of reverse. And I think that's absolutely true, because wealthy people don't migrate. I mean, people that migrate, yeah, I'm almost done. So anyways, I thought that's the way I see it. I see it's more like a disadvantage thing. So, and then like giving more opportunity for people like coming up, like for kids, attacking that from the really base, I think is a one way to go. And so I don't need to go out of this because we already talked, but I think these are data that I think that Theanne like talk about that and Julio. And so this is how the promotion to professors that is like obviously less in Hispanics and blacks, and same when you compare female and male and females. And so my time is over, but I mean I would like to. So this is some of the NINDS specifically. This is all across NIH that we are like doing efforts to promote diversity. And this is the one I really want to talk about because this is the study section actually that I'm running next month. And I was very surprised and very frustrated when I saw this is a K99 for diversity, to promote diversity. So this is for you guys. And I received 11 applications. So I think this is ridiculous, that in the whole United States, we have 11 applicants that are applying for it. And I think the reason is that this is a very new initiative. So this is from the Brain Initiative. This is very new, but this is, I'm going to take extra time for this because I think this is very important. And this is going to be recurrent, and probably I'm going to be taking care of it. So if you have students or postdocs, actually, that are in that stage, please encourage them to apply. I mean, it is very important. So the eligibility, Julio was asking me, so it needs to be a postdoc or resident, it needs to be a U.S. citizen or permanent resident, member of the underrepresented group, no more than 5 years of graduated from the PhD, and who requires at least 12 months in the development phase, the K99 phase, to get independent a year later. So that's very well. There are other programs, but I want to stop here, and then, so I'm gonna have, so this is, here actually I have like some flyers of the different programs that the NINDS have for postdocs, for undergrads, and even for high schoolers in the United States. So that won't apply to you, but the one for postdocs did apply to the students. So yeah, so and then, so the main target of what I wanted to, the message I wanted to get through is for the young people, for the students, because some of you eventually, I was there sitting one day, right there, not in this room, but in a room very similar down the hill, and so you eventually will end up being in the United States at some point, even doing a postdoc or PhD or whatever, and then eventually, hopefully, you come back or you will stay there, so you will be in that group and you can take advantage. Please don't. So that being said, I'd rather would have done this in Spanish, but because we have a lot of speakers. So the point is, if you have a question and you are afraid to ask in English, because I was afraid to ask questions in English when I was there, asking in Spanish, and most of us speak Spanish, all of us speak Spanish because Susan speaks Spanish too, and we can translate it to you and answer the question. Don't be afraid to ask questions because this is very important for you guys. All right? So I'm done here.